Hey guys, welcome back to Stay Positive. Listen, this is the podcast that we need at this time. I know people are getting a little stir crazy. I am. I've been self-quarantined for a while. I'm just trying to stay away from people. The only person I've really seen outside of the guy I live with is Joe Wong, who is the guest today. He risked his damn life by trekking out into the wild, coming to my house and sitting less than 6 feet away from me to talk into this microphone so that you guys could get some good content. So let's get excited about that. A little bit about Joe Wong. He's a hilarious comedian. He's had such success in comedy. He was on the David Letterman show back when that was still going, and he was on the Colbert show. Just recently, check out his clips online. They're super funny if you need a laugh during these hard times. I'm working on a project with him. We're making a TV show about his life. So, it's a lot of fun. But he's very cool. And specifically, he had a really successful late night show in China. And that's where he used to live. Obviously, he lives here now, but he has family still in China. So he has a lot of more intel on coronavirus. If you want to hear about that, I know you want an escape, but we do talk about it. So be aware of that. He knows some crazy shit going on. Thinks this was going to be probably a long-term situation. And on top of all that, he also, like myself, we're Asian American. We're really aware and hypersensitive to all the racism that's going on, you guys. If you're Asian and you're listening to this, which you probably are, I know that's a lot of the demographic. You know that there's some shit going down. People are getting beat up because people think they have the coronavirus because they're Asian. It doesn't make any sense. Because if you're going to beat someone up, you're going to touch them and you're going to get the virus. So if you think someone has coronavirus, don't touch them. Stay away. But anyway, so there's some bad stuff going on. Things are getting defaced. Kids are getting ostracized in class because they're Asian. This is not new stuff, and so we talk about that as well. And my last thing I want to say is if you guys are hungry, something I'm doing is I'm going to order takeout or delivery food, probably from a Chinese restaurant or an Asian restaurant, because a lot of Chinese restaurants are getting hit hard by this, because of racism and xenophobia. I mean, all restaurants are getting hit hard by this, but I think Chinese restaurants specifically, long before quarantining was happening, people stopped going to them because they were like, ooh, maybe there's corona in the chicken. And you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. But in this case, I think it would be nice if maybe if it doesn't make any difference to you, choose Chinese. I love a dumpling. I love to get maybe some dumplings. I'm going to get some, maybe some scallion pancake. Ooh, that sounds really yummy. I might get, maybe some boba. Can you get boba delivered? I hope so. Anyway. Let's all do our part by staying in and ordering Chinese food. Yay! Anyway. So, I already told you guys, this is Joe Wong. You're going to love him. Have fun. Hi, Joe. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, hi, Sierra. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, thanks for coming in the middle of a world crisis, I guess, a global health crisis,
It's finally called a pandemic now.
Yeah. We did it. We finally made it to the end, It's a wrap on the world.
Yeah, I know. So, I guess we're just waiting for the pandemic to happen to tape this episode, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to have you on for a while, but you're like, no, let's wait.
Let's wait.
It's any day now.
Exactly.
But what a disaster.
I know.
Thanks for braving the outdoors and coming to this house. I promise in here we're safe.
Oh, yeah.
But,
it's
still wash your hands, all those things.
Yeah, I know.
Just in case.
But I saw a long line outside of Ralph's.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Which Ralph's was that in?
This was in Alhambra.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking I might go. I was like, well, I could definitely go to some of the grocery stores in Chinese areas because people are being racist. So but then it's there's still Chinese people who Chinese Americans who live there. So they still have to go to the grocery store. So it's still going to be crowded. But I was like, I wonder where we can go. That's a secret location. Untouched.
I don't quite know. I'm planning to go there Monday morning, really early.
When people have to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I mean, we were trying to order off of Amazon Prime, Amazon Fresh, which is just grocery delivery, but it's not available.
Oh,
we were
really?
like, oh, well, it's capping us all at one item per thing, so I couldn't order 8 ice cream sandwiches. I had to order 4. And then,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a real tough day.
I know.
And then I literally, and then we were trying to order and pick a delivery window, quote unquote, and it was none available. So they're done.
So you
And I was
can
like, I
order,
think-
but we can't deliver
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah. We can give them the money, but
Yeah.
they can no longer provide us with the food. No, we couldn't even order. So yeah, it was crazy. And then like I was thinking maybe looking at Target, because Target has a grocery store now, but like some people don't know that and they have like a delivery thing, or maybe using Instacart. I don't know.
Oh.
But we're good. I literally, thank God, I went to Trader Joe's on Tuesday. And people were saying like, hey, you better go. And I was like,
Yeah.
ha, you're fine. And then it just blew up on Wednesday, I feel like.
I know. That's why I think it would have helped if there was a Chinese president.
Yeah.
You know, like Andrew Yang or somebody. You know, because
Sure.
the Chinese community is more plugged into the whole
Right.
coronavirus thing. You know.
Yeah. So yeah, were you like, I got like a couple forwarded emails maybe around the time early on
Yeah.
about what was happening in China, but were you like super plugged in?
Yeah, very plugged in. Because my family still lives in Beijing.
Yeah.
And they were basically told not to go out like weeks ago.
Jesus.
You know?
Yeah. And you're like,
You know,
this seems suspicious. Uh-huh.
So only one person from a family can go out and do grocery shopping.
Oh, wow.
And when they enter back into the apartment complex, there were people who are there to check your temperature, to make sure you're okay. You know?
Right. And then if you're not, you
Yeah.
get popped out.
Yeah, exactly. You either have to self quarantine or they send you to a place where you can be
Right.
isolated. You know, and I think Italy is finally adopting this policy just like yesterday.
Yeah. I know, but they're not doing like the separating you from your family quarantine thing, which I think I had heard is working in China well.
Yeah.
But like here, I don't know if they can. I mean, they can,
Yeah.
but I think there's like definitely more like, I can do what I want.
Oh yeah.
I'm American.
But I don't think so though, because
They'll crack down. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, I still remember right after 9/11. That's I'm a new immigrant here because I thought I just really bought into this American being rugged individuals. They have their rights.
Yeah.
But right after that, just like there's so many rights got taken away by the government, and
Sure.
everybody's okay with it. I was like,
Right.
okay,
Oh,
we're all the
interesting.
same. You know,
Right.
it's not like
When push comes to shove, yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause-
Similar concept. But people are saying it's like wartime kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And there were a lot of really just sad stories coming out of Wuhan. You know, I remember hearing this because in Wuhan for a while they were really knocking on doors to make sure everybody's okay. So they knocked on the door. This like 7, 8-year-old boy opened the door. They were like, "Hey, where are you? Where are the adults?" They were like, "Oh, grandma and grandpa are sleeping there." You know, basically his grandparents were all dead. The little boy didn't know.
Oh,
He just covered them and then just survived on crackers because he's a really good boy.
God.
You know, he was told not to go outside. He just stayed indoors eating crackers and wait for
that's
people to come.
heartbreaking.
I know. That's why later on they have the policy of if one person's sick,
Right. Keep them out of
just
there.
keep them out of the family because
Somebody has to raise the little boy.
because literally the whole family could just
Right.
get
Anybody,
infected.
who's not super healthy. Oh my God, that's so sad. Oh, he
know.
just covered him. He's like, oh, they're sleeping. I've been eating
God.
crackers.
Yeah.
I'm good.
This is-
Following those rules.
Yeah.
Ugh, you hate to see it.
It's terrible.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, yeah, it does seem like people were not taking it seriously here. Of course. I mean, it's hard when you just don't even know anyone personally, or you don't hear these stories because they're not or you hear them, but maybe it just feels like a myth because it's so far away, and you're just like, I don't even know. I don't trust anything because everything is fake these days,
exactly.
and your president's lying to you. What are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, that's pretty wild. I do want to formally intro you too before we get too deep into Corona, even though we love to talk about it. I want to get back to this. But yeah, so Joe Wong is a comedian. Obviously, I had known of you long before we actually met, but I remember watching your correspondence dinner. It was sent around. My cousin had the video and she sent it around, I remember, and all of her family thought you're hilarious. And then I remember watching your stand-up. Either, I wonder if I ever actually saw you at the Comedy Studio, like, live? Or if I just am conflating that with a video I saw of you. I mean, if I did, I wouldn't have approached you. I would have just been like, wow, and then, like, stood in the back. But I don't know if at that point you were still there.
What year was this?
It had to be between 2012 and 2016, I guess. Cause that would
probably not.
be... Okay, I probably imagined that then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, a thing I made up in my mind? Uh-huh.
Yeah, I left around 2013.
Okay.
Yeah, early 2013.
Oh, yeah. So
It
yeah, I
could
don't
be-
know.
could be
Maybe.
sometime in
Yeah, in
2012,
between.
you
Or if
know?
you came back and did
Yeah.
like a guest drop in. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, yeah, anyway, always had been a big fan. And then
Oh, thanks so
obviously
much.
we met to work on a pilot together, which we're
Yeah.
still working on. And yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if anybody wants to hear a pitch, let's do it now.
I know. Yeah. If you like what you hear,
Yeah, exactly.
wait to hear more. If you like
Yeah.
these voices talking to you,
Yeah, exactly.
why don't you hear it for another hour? But yeah, and then obviously like you had you blew up in China where you had your show and also have a really hilarious clip most recently, I guess, on Colbert. But
Yeah.
you were on David Letterman. Late Show?
Yeah, late show with
The Late
David
Show with David
Letterman.
Letterman. Yeah, they're all the late night with the late night,
I know.
and
I know.
and tonight, and it's like, I don't know. I just know the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
David Letterman, he's a big deal.
Yeah, yeah. I think the comedy landscape has changed. You know, back those days, the late night spots it's a big deal. You know, every time I have to buy a new dark suit, and you pick the music you want to come onto the stage to. Yeah, it's a really formal thing. You know, they plan ahead. And I remember once we were affected by Hurricane Sandy.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
trapped in New York
uh-huh.
for 2-3 days because you know the city was flooded.
Right,
We had to
yeah.
wait for the storm to be over to tape that show. You know, yeah, it was. Lady Antebellum was the band at the time.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, they were big. I
Yeah.
remember they won like best band in the Grammys.
Oh yeah, I know. The drunk dialing song.
yeah,
exactly.
the drunk dial. Yeah, the butt dial or whatever, booty call. Sorry.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but now it's just everybody
Real
says,
banger.
"Oh, you gotta have a Netflix special."
Oh,
and
I
this and that.
see.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. I mean, the bar has definitely changed, but I mean, the late night set's still a big deal. I think it's like, it's just a shorter amount of time. So if people want to do an hour, they can't do it on late night. But
Yeah.
no, for sure. There's all sorts of things. I think it's a good time to be doing comedy, but it's definitely very saturated because a lot of people see it and they're like, oh, I could do that. And
Oh
then,
yeah.
then the mics are packed and the shows are packed and everybody's on Twitter.
Oh
And,
yeah.
yeah, it's a lot. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting because I think, it's people want comedy, especially now with Corona stuff. It's like it made me go back on Twitter, which I regret. But, it is true that it's
wait
like,
a minute. What was the reason you got off Twitter?
oh, it just scares me.
Oh,
Because
really?
like everybody's so mean and everybody's like fighting, and I think I was like looking at it a lot, but not posting. Obviously, I was just like looking at like, oh, you spelled this wrong, and like people being
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, do you mean this?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you're an idiot, and it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, I hate this. Like it's like the worst part of every human being is on that
know.
website. So I just kind of stood away from it because I think I would like read it and it would just make my day so sad.
Does it jive with your positiveness, right?
It doesn't. I know. I'm like, listen, I got to start a whole podcast because this thing messed me up.
Oh, I see.
No,
Oh,
but
that's the
no,
reason why
no, not
Okay,
at all.
no.
Well, I do like podcasts because they're long form, so I can like talk to you for a while. And,
Oh yeah.
And it's not like us going back and forth in 100 characters or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're on Twitter, and I feel like you do a good job at it. So like, what's your view on Twitter?
Oh, I don't think I'm doing a great job there, to be honest.
Classic Joe. You're doing great.
But I do feel that it is a place to say things, because with Instagram it's all about pictures and short
Yeah. Lots of
videos.
butts on Instagram.
Yeah, I know.
Less butts on Twitter. Still some butts on Twitter, but fewer.
Yeah, a lot fewer, because you can voice your opinion in a quick way. Now, that's the part that I like.
Yeah. It's a good platform for like making statements,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
I think also makes it annoying.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
But yeah, I mean, do you, and you're on Instagram too.
Yeah.
Do you do you prefer one or the other?
Oh, I still prefer Twitter
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
It's definitely more for comedians, I think, because we
Exactly.
are more about, jokes.
Yeah,
Jokes
exactly.
over butts.
But
yeah.
there are a lot of comedians showing their butts.
Right. I mean, if you could do both, have at it. That's
Yeah.
very synergized,
But unfortunately, I have to unfollow some of my female
But
comedians
oh,
because
yeah.
I'm married.
Sure, yeah, it gets a little dicey. It's a little dicey.
I mean, I've known her for like years, so all of a sudden, I didn't know.
Right. Whoa, whose butt is this? Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been away for a couple of years. I came back, it's like, everything changed,
Whoa, what happened since I came? Oh God, yeah. And I guess they don't have it in China. What's like the thing in China? Is it Weibo?
Weibo,
yeah.
is like
it's like a blog?
Twitter here.
Oh, Twitter. Okay,
yeah,
got it.
and there's also TikTok's huge there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have TikTok. That's fine. You should do TikTok. Do you do TikTok?
Oh, I had an account
Mm-hmm.
because my barber goaded me into doing it. Yeah, my barber is quite a character.
Oh wow, yeah. Social media.
I know, but
on top of it.
here's the thing, I even said this on stage. I think most Americans are very nice in person. That's why I never knew if my haircut is good or not.
Oh, because everybody just says,
they're like,
yeah.
nice haircut. But not in China. They would just tell you, wow, that's a shitty haircut.
Oh, wow.
Like,
yeah.
even my barber, it was like, I was like, what, you did this?
So the barber who made you get on TikTok is
Yeah.
the barber in China who doesn't like your haircut that he made?
Oh, yeah, he's like, your hair is too tough,
Just like the texture of it?
Oh, yeah, he's like, tough hair, tough life, That's like,
wow. He's like a fortune teller too. He's like, listen,
exactly.
I can read your hair. I'll read the
exactly.
follicles.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, and so was he big on TikTok? Does he like do cool like barber TikToks or anything?
No. Oh, yeah, he does. But then, because he saw me on TV, he said, you've been on TV for years, but then this is the new thing.
Oh,
now.
sure.
You gotta get to it.
Translated. I think Jimmy Fallon is on TikTok.
Oh, really?
Or a lot of The Rock is on TikTok. So they know that when that new platform comes out, they might as well try it just in case. Because, movies might not always be there. I mean, look at Corona.
Oh, yeah.
It's really slamming the theaters. So TikTok, you don't have to be close to people.
But I have to say that the movie theaters in America are still open. That's pretty impressive. Because
despite I don't know if that's responsible.
I know.
I don't know if it's impressive or just irresponsible.
Yeah, the movie theater is immediately shut down during Chinese New Year, which is the biggest time for movies.
Oh,
yeah,
because it was that bad.
Yeah, all the box office records were set during Chinese New Year because people have time. They want to spend money.
Yeah, and it's celebration and going out with friends. Oh, yeah, that must have been bad.
The movie industry took really bad hit.
I'm sure. Yeah, and I'm worried like all these productions are pausing here and stuff like that, so it might take a toll.
Yeah, I just I remember when I was shooting a film in Hong Kong, the comment in general there was the Hong Kong crew are a lot less efficient than the crews from mainland China, only because there's so fewer movies are being shot there anymore.
Oh, okay.
It's not like back in the 90s and 80s. They're churning out a movie in 2 weeks or something.
Wow.
Yeah, but now they're just getting rustier. I'm just afraid similar things will happen here too in Hollywood. After people on hiatus for a while,
right.
It's like, I have to slowly get back to.
I gotta go back to work.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure people are like writing stuff right now. That's what's funny. I know there's a tweet going around that's like during the bubonic plague or whatever. During the plague, Shakespeare wrote King Lear. So what are you doing?
I know. Yeah.
Did you see that one?
Oh yeah.
People are being so ridiculous.
Also, I heard the one I heard is. Isaac Newton.
Oh.
Yeah, during the play, he went back to his hometown or something.
And then he discovered gravity?
I grew a lot of hair, I think.
No, he just worked on those hair follicles. His barber was like, you're tough hair, tough life. Interesting. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe people are like at least able to write stuff now. Like I'm still going to work, quote unquote. Like our writer's room is meeting virtually. So... which is so lucky. Like, I feel really grateful that it's like, oh God, good thing I took this job and they're able to meet and my boss is really nice and like letting us work from home and good thing. But like, not so many people are lucky, and especially with comedy and touring and shit, like that's canceled across the board. It's like really tough. But virtual Instagram Live, comedy shows.
know.
My friend was doing like a DJ set last night in her own room, and then I was watching live. That was really fun.
DJs. Yeah, I wish I know how to do that.
I mean, yeah, you got to learn. You have time to learn now.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have any quarantine goals?
Oh.
Quarantine bucket list?
Yeah, that's a better name.
Right.
Bucket list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't made up my mind yet.
Sure, you got time.
Yeah. I'm still working on my New Year's resolution,
Yeah, I know. Good thing, in the middle of March, it's the best time to get them done.
Exactly.
How long do you think we'll be in this? Like, it could be a while.
Oh, from the experience in China, it's March now, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I think people think it's going to be a month. Like, I think most people are like, oh, maybe we'll like recheck back in April.
Yeah.
3 months.
Because China is still slowly getting back to normal.
Right.
Yeah.
And they have the capability to actually like get stuff done, like get stuff
and
quarantined.
check your temperatures,
right. And we
that
are
kind of
not
stuff.
doing that at
Yeah.
all. Like, people are just not getting tested. So it seems like the numbers are really like suppressed.
And the thing is, it's not because people don't want to get tested.
Right,
If
and
they
they just
want to be tested, then they just say you don't qualify.
Right.
So
which
what
is like,
happened
what?
is one lady, I heard, one of them is going to Singapore. Another one is going to China to get tested because people here, they don't let them test.
Are you flying to? Yeah, that's like
know.
the opposite of it. You probably catch it on the plane.
Oh,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, it's insane. Yeah.
But then, well, you can wear a mask on the plane now. It's
Sure.
super painful. It's a 13-hour flight.
Oh God,
You
it's
know,
not worth it. Honestly,
I do that a lot. It's just 13 hours sitting there. You basically have all the time to basically remember all the bad decisions you ever made in your life. You're like, oh, geez, what have I done?
Shuddering
to
and
be
coach.
this?
Yeah. Just like, oh Jesus. Yeah, I mean, I find time to do that even without a 13-hour flight. Honestly. Yeah, I'm very good. I'm very efficient with thinking about all my mistakes and all the things, all the regrets and all the
Wait a
emails
minute.
I haven't sent.
Yours is staying positive.
Listen, we don't always stay on topic, you know. Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, it seems like there's some issues that the U.S. has to sort out.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, 3 months, that's a long time. I even saw something about the fact that maybe contagiousness continues past the amount that they thought. Like, after they're discharging people in China, say, when they already got over it, they might still be carrying it.
Ooh.
But I don't know. I mean, there was like one Bloomberg article or whatever, so who knows? Everybody's freaking out. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyway, so I'm glad you're here though, and you're able to get move to LA before. Not before it's gonna hit everywhere, but
Exactly. Yeah. I know.
But
I was safe for a while now.
Yeah. Now you just have to keep moving around the world.
Yeah, I know.
I heard West Virginia doesn't have any cases, so maybe there's something there for you.
Well, you know what? The safest place is North Korea.
Oh,
No, yeah.
right. They just shoot you if you have
I
it.
know.
Yeah. I heard that. They just some guy coughed and they just shot him.
Yeah, if you don't feel a bullet, you're okay.
Right. Yeah, you're good. That's their test. Is, are you dead already from
exactly,
gunshot wound? Yeah. It's dark, but we have to laugh in these times of great need. I mean, and then also your son is home and at least not running around school, so you guys got to have a lot of quality family time, which is nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you can start TikTok with him because he's young and he'll know all the latest dances and stuff.
Oh, well, you want me to dance?
Well, yeah, that's a big thing on TikTok. Plus, a big thing on TikTok for the kids. This is literally, I know nothing about it, and I'm old for TikTok too. It's for children. I think like they like to involve their parents because it's fun. Like dads doing the dance that all the teens are doing is like kind of funny.
Oh, I
So
did
you get
that
big
in
through that.
China.
Oh, yeah.
Because the production team in the show, every once in a while they would do a TikTok too.
Nice.
And oh man, these dance moves are very hard to learn.
Yeah.
But then not for everybody because some of my guests, they're actors and actresses. They're really quick to
they have to learn for a living. Yeah, that's hard. I mean, imagine being like, a dancer. I mean, obviously you're already good at it if you're a professional dancer, but like having to learn choreography in just like an hour to perform, and then you got to like be real quick on your feet. But I think it's like a whole thing.
Wow. TikTok. Do you have a TikTok account yet?
I do.
Yeah.
I have 2 videos up, and they have not done very well. But you can post your stand-up on it apparently, and I don't know. I talk about it way more than I actually use it, so I'm really not an expert. But I love to talk about this stuff. But yeah, so you pointed out that this is a Stay Positive podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anything you like to do these days to stay positive?
Oh yeah. Now I'm thinking about doing the Instagram thing too. Instagram. What do you call live? Instagram.
Oh
live
yeah.
Or yeah,
you could
either try it.
Yeah, you could go live and talk to your fans.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Hey, Wong heads.
Oh yeah.
It's Joe here. Just stay safe, stay indoors, wash your hands. Yeah.
I see. or I can talk about all the stories I heard from how the Chinese deal with their problems. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. What do they do?
I know. Yeah.
What have you heard? Any particular stories that you want to impart on my podcast listeners?
Yeah, I heard a lot from my parents. They basically have to get some disposable raincoat, goggles, masks, gloves. They go out shopping.
Right. Good.
And then they come home. Somebody check their temperature. They're okay. They come home and they just take off the raincoat and stuff,
right,
and then spray it.
Oh yeah.
They're like super careful. It sounds really silly and probably very off-putting to people here. But
sure.
I just read an article. They were analyzing why the disease didn't spread as much in Japan. One of the reasons is that the Japanese people had the habit of wearing a mask when they have a cold. So they're very conscientious. They don't want to spread the disease. So wearing a mask is not a problem for them.
So they already had, before they got sold out online.
Yeah. So
that's good.
Yeah, that's why if you see the curve, the curve in Japan is a lot flatter than other countries.
Oh, nice. Yeah, flatten that curve.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a couple masks left over from I had asked my parents. Actually, my aunt is a nurse, and I just wanted masks for cleaning, just to clean around the house, and then they gave me 4, and so I had these masks. And then now they're I'm should I sell them for hundreds of dollars?
Oh, yeah. I have some of those 3M 95N masks.
Oh, whoa. So those are the ones that are really useful, right? Because the ones I have, they're not good enough.
Yeah, I got them for the smog in Beijing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I had a couple of them because I travel there a lot.
Sure,
and I'm super allergic to everything.
Oh.
Yeah. But except dogs and cats, I'm fine.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Great.
Yeah. Just
that's
pollen or, pollution. I have to wear a mask,
Right. Racism.
Yeah. Racism.
True. I'm allergic to you. Yeah. No, for sure. I think that's all. Those you should sell for $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and hand sanitizer too. I had some left over from 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. I can't find it, but I think it's somewhere in this house.
Well, keep the faith.
Yeah. I mean, also all that. Yeah. I'm sure it's somewhere around. Yeah. Also, wipes, Clorox wipes, spray things, all those things. Very fun.
Yeah. So little things help.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess just for positivity stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so let's go back into your okay. So when we were working together, / we still are, when we were writing this pilot, and it's very much based on your life when you were here working in biotech and stuff like that. But particularly, you sent me a kind of unfinished, in progress memoir. I don't know if is that okay we talk about. I mean, obviously. It's your life, so it's not like we're doing any spoilers. He becomes a successful comedian. Oh my God, don't tell me the end of this book. But yeah, I thought it was just so fascinating because obviously, you were an immigrant and you came when you were 24, you said?
Yeah.
So, a full grown person trying to start their life over. I just thought it was very admirable. And not only that, but some little tidbits that you put in the book that I think it's so funny because you'll say them very nonchalantly, but it'll be oh yeah, and then I memorized the dictionary of the English dictionary. What? That's not a thing. So that's sort of just a snippet of, I guess, what I think of your memoir, and then also when I think people maybe don't know the full Joe Wong. They know you're a comedian, but it's he's also a genius, and it's hilarious.
I can't say I'm a genius. No genius will try to memorize the dictionary. Just kind of
But
stupid, right?
I mean, yeah, definitely not a thing that many people can do in the first place.
Yeah, it's kind of a waste of time looking back. Right?
Any big words pop out to you that you loved?
Oh, there are a lot. Like pensive, lugubrious.
Yeah,
Like,
what does lugubrious mean? I don't know what that means.
It's kind of fuzzy on me.
Sure,
now,
yeah.
It's been years.
It's a hilarious word, but you never hear it.
I actually lost a friend because of it.
Oh no! Did he die?
No.
Did you hear that word and keel over dead?
Because one of my friends told me that another friend won't be my friend anymore. I said, why? He said, because you use that word.
Oh!
Said,
yeah,
said,
I mean, that's a deal breaker.
Yeah, he thinks you're pretentious. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, and you're like, well, you just said pretentious.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of those words, like, I think we were talking about this with Muhammad, is that...
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and we should mention your manager's name is Muhammad Ali, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
No relation. But yeah, just the fact that I think the only time I learned big words is for the SAT. For the college exam. SAT vocab is like a big thing. Ooh, you got to learn like pugnacious, and you have all these like flashcards, and then the questions on the test don't always correlate, so you learn a lot more than what you would need to know for the test, but. That's like the only time, and then English class, I guess. But
but then I just assumed that every American knows every word on the dictionary.
You're like, you're American, so you know the American dictionary.
Exactly.
I mean, and there's a lot. Even the citizenship test is a lot more American history than most American citizens know.
Oh yeah.
Natural born citizens or whatever.
Yeah, they have questions like. Which general in the Second World War later became the president? I'm like, this is like a Jeopardy question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Eisenhower.
Yeah, it's totally a Jeopardy question. Oh, Eisenhower. Okay, I wouldn't have known that. Yeah, that's like Ken Jennings buzzing in,
exactly,
yeah, and he's Canadian, I think.
Yeah.
But who is Eisenhower?
Who is exactly?
That's really weird.
When I'm studying this, I literally hear the music.
Right, they're like, yeah, and how much do you want to wager? My citizenship, please. Jesus. Because, all those things, we learn certain facts here and there in school, but I feel like there's really no... I mean, the joke is that everything you learn in school you don't actually use in life,
Yeah.
So that's very silly, but
if you try to become a citizen...
Right. Then it comes in handy.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Interesting. And then, what was it? I guess, I don't know. So I'm 25 now, and so I can't imagine moving at all. I've literally grown up in Southern California. I'm a terrible person to be working on this project with you because I don't know the immigrant experience myself.
But you have the American perspective, right?
Sure, I guess so, like many others. But I think it's just really impressive because for me it was a big deal to live in Boston for college because I had grown up here. But it's still the same country. It's still, I'm in the shelter of a college.
But I have to say that when I first came to America, I lived in Texas for almost 8 years. And I thought Texas is America.
Sure.
And later I moved to Boston. I just feel like, oh my God, what is this place?
Yeah, very different, I guess.
When I first went to Texas, it was so hard on me. I swear to myself, I'm never going to go to another place, to a different culture again in my life. This is too hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, then I moved to Boston. It's like, oh no. This is
Who are they? This is a completely different accent. There's no more cowboy boots.
Exactly. And I drove from Texas to Boston.
Oh, wow.
And when I was there, I was trying to look for my friend's place. I stopped and asked for directions. I'm like, hey, excuse me, ma'am, I'm lost. And then she looked at my license plate. She was like, oh, Texas in the south.
She directs you back. You drive back. Exactly. You're like, I don't know. She gave me these directions.
Don't come here.
That's hilarious. Yeah. That's crazy you did that drive. Well, that's a really American experience too, just doing a road trip.
Oh, yeah, it's nice. It took me 3 days. And I just remember as I was driving further and further north, the frequency of Billy Joel songs gets higher and higher.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the closer you get to New York, the more
that's
Billy Joel songs.
Yeah, that's the compass. You're like, we're close.
We're close.
They did back-to-back Billy Joel. That's nice. Yeah, yeah. I guess the radio experience definitely changes. Whenever I'm on driving to a gig or something that's a little further, and then it changes, I'm like, I don't know what do I listen to? You know, because it's kind of hard to know.
It fades away afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. I remember you also saying like when friends from China or outside of the U.S. like visit you, they're like, "Oh, can we do all these things?" Because they expect a lot of like hospitality. And I think it was hilarious. You saying like, "Yeah," they're like, "Oh, hey, can you drive me to Yellowstone?"
Yeah, exactly.
You're like in Los Angeles. Like, what? I can't drive you there.
Oh, but we do.
You're like, all right.
Yeah, okay.
You got to be a good host. I mean, that's a bare minimum.
Yeah, there's also the World Trade Center. No, but no.
Yeah, right.
Before 9/11, yeah, because
they wanted to see that.
I was lucky to have seen it before the 9/11. You know, so
yikes.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
So you showed them like they wanted to see like New York City, and then like they're like, let's go to Yellowstone.
Yeah, what else can you do?
Sure, yeah. I mean, you got to hit all the national landmarks when you're in the U.S. Yeah, I mean, that's scary. So you said, okay. Oh, yeah, so you said you were in New York. Were you in New York during 2001? Wait.
No, I was there in 2000.
Oh, 2000.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
yes, you saw it before.
I'm sorry.
And then...
Oh, I visited there back in 1999.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Very close to the...
I moved to Boston in 2001.
Oh, okay.
So 9/11 happened the second day I was at work.
Jeesh.
Yeah. It's just all of a sudden everybody just stopped. We're at a conference.
Right.
And I was like, oh, what's going on? And then everybody took off the second day. So
sure, yeah. Yeah, what a crazy thing, because obviously like nothing like that has happened since. Like this is, I mean, Corona is probably yeah. Corona is probably the closest thing to like a national kind of crisis, international crisis, that we've had since then. But yeah, to be like, all right, okay, starting my new job, I'm like, hey, why is everybody quitting? Like,
no.
We got to get back to work now. But yeah, interesting. What was that like? I don't know. I haven't asked anybody about
9/11.
Yeah, where were you during 9/11? But
because the flight was actually from Logan Airport.
Oh, it was?
Yeah. And there are people who are... a lot of people know somebody who were on the plane or almost get on the plane or whatever. You know, there's always a story.
Yeah.
But I remember I was at a grocery store, and this one guy just said, what if the United States decided to not attack anybody? Just set an example for the world.
What if?
Yeah, what if?
What a dream.
At the time, people stared at him as if he was crazy.
Right.
Because at the time, the American flag is everywhere, all the trucks and stuff. And but looking back, you know, it's probably not a bad idea. You know, there's so many wars. I actually read somewhere that during the 240 years history in America, 93% of the time America is at war with somebody. 93% of the time.
Yeah, it's really a big part of like the way that this country operates. It's crazy.
And do you know what's between the First World War and Second World War?
No.
The Great Depression.
Oh, good.
When we're not fighting wars, we get really depressed.
Right. They're like, we got to start another war, guys. What are we doing? Exactly. I mean, I think it is a real like economy booster because people kind of associate it with patriotism and spending money and all that crap. So it is weird. We are kind of like, I mean, as controversial as this might be, I think there's, that book 1984 where it's like kind of like, dystopian, futuristic. It's sort of this constant war with like an enemy that kind of you can't really put your finger, you know what I mean? It's like obviously we know what countries we are at war with, but I think as a citizen here, or like as just a person who's a civilian, not fully engaged in that, you're kind of like, wait, but why? And then you go to work and then you like go eat a sandwich. You know what I mean? Like, and it's terrible because it's obviously affecting people. And like we're just like, I don't know.
Exactly, it's because we're sitting here and talking, but America is still fighting two wars.
Sure, and we're like, oh man, you guys see the latest Stranger Things?
Yeah, exactly.
It's wild. Yeah. Woo. Yeah. Well, that's a fun topic always to talk about. You know what I mean? Like it's good, positive.
But as an immigrant, I just realized one thing that America is a country of immigrants. We have people from all over the world, and America is fighting a lot of different countries, which means whenever America is at war with a country, there's always someone from
right. There's always a quote
America,
unquote like enemy person that people
who can
view.
be just a target for people to practice their patriotism or whatever. Just like,
guys, look, let me beat up this person.
Or like there are a lot of Pakistani or even Sikh guys who were shot right after 9/11.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah. And with the coronavirus, the Asian Americans get targeted.
The virus enemy.
Virus enemy.
Yeah, it's so crazy. But yeah, I mean, there's so many parallels people draw between like, okay, how the Japanese American were treated in the World War II and today, like anyone who's brown. It's just like insane.
Yeah, but then, when America is at war with Japan, the Japanese got what do they call it? Encamped?
I think incarcerated.
Incarcerated.
Yeah.
But then they were also at war with Germany.
Right.
Look
and
at what
they're
happened
like,
to the Germans.
You guys, we can't really. Fine. But yeah, so during that time, my grandparents were incarcerated, and then my Chinese grandparents had to wear pins that said "I am Chinese," so that they didn't think they're Japanese.
Oh wow! Jeez.
Isn't that terrible?
Oh my god.
But yeah, and there's like weird drawings. I mean, so Dr. Seuss had like some kind of propaganda like drawings, and so I kind of remember that kind of like, ooh, Dr. Seuss. Ooh. But he did some where it was like how to tell a Japanese from a Chinese, and it was like how like facially, like it's just super racist stuff. But it was like, oh, their eyes are like this, and then they kind of have teeth like this. It's like that's not true at all. But it's like it was real racist.
Oh, I researched this too. There's not only Dr. Seuss. There's like
a lot of
articles
other
on
artists.
Time magazine because the U.S. soldiers go to the front. They can't tell them apart. They basically have an article saying, oh, the Chinese tend to have a smile on their face.
What? So they just shoot it and they're like, you wasn't smiling. I think you're Japanese.
And the Japanese are very serious, but they laugh at the wrong time. I was like, okay.
So you got to tell them a joke.
I know.
They like get a loudspeaker. They're like, oh, we're going to have this guy do 5 minutes. That's so ridiculous.
Together,
Right. Do a little, it's like performing for the troops, but like in battle.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I also think, what was it to say? Oh, I guess just there were totally like Japanese Americans who fought for America too, like the 442nd or whatever, and like. Yeah. Well, I don't even know.
So
I didn't know anyone. Yeah, I know people whose like grandparents were in that, but I just like am so interested in like what. But obviously, this is all there's stuff happening right now that's the same thing, and
exactly.
It's just repeating itself.
Yeah, because I didn't get into this until I started working, and when you're in school. All this racism and the stuff it's kind of still far away. Theory. You're young, optimistic. You're like, oh, it'll be better by the time I graduate.
Sure.
6 months later.
It's fine. Yeah, it's all in theory right now.
Exactly. But once you started to get into the real world, I just realized, oh wow, there's a lot of stuff. And then one book I read is The Chinese in America by Iris Chang. Because she also wrote The Rape of Nanking. Yeah, that book really tells a lot of these stories.
Yeah. I remember my mom read The Rape of Nanking, and then she was like, I was reading this book, it's about the big massacre, and I was kind of looking at your dad like, oh, because my dad's Japanese. That's always a funny thing, because and then it's funny because like I think when people learn that I'm half and half Japanese, half Chinese, they're like, oh, that's kind of a weird combo. I'm I don't care, but of course, like at the time, and they're all because their parents were born here too, so they're kind of like, they were kind of like, oh, is that weird? Whatever. But pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah,
war is not great.
Yeah, but the thing I appreciate about that book is not because it just exposed what the Japanese empire did in China, but also to raise the awareness that everybody knows basically what Hitler did to people in Europe. Very few people know what happened in Asia.
Right. Yeah, it is weird that's, I mean, it's not, it's very, like, it makes sense. People tend to learn more European history than Asian history, but it is true that I think some people just have no idea.
Zero idea
yeah.
about what happened there, you know.
Totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so all this stuff, and I feel like every time I talk to you, you know, a lot of things are on your mind, just socially, like racism stuff and all this, things getting better or worse, or not getting better and stagnating. But yeah, do you have any like certain things that you feel people can do if they feel as if they're feeling hopeless about this stuff?
Well, you could just literally say something, you know. Emo Phillips, the comedian, actually just, you know, DM'd me after I tweeted. You know, he was like, you know, I really feel sorry for your situation or the situation of Asians. I just, I really appreciate this, you know.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Was it in response to what tweet did you? Was it the show one or a recent one?
More recent one about the coronavirus.
Yeah.
You know, I literally feel hopeless. I was like, I just give up. And there's, you know, to be honest, I used to believe that we have all these problems because we don't have enough representation in the media or in entertainment. But now I feel that's not the problem. You know, it's still, you know, you can have 1,000 crazy rich Asians in the theater, but you can still get targeted. You know.
Sure.
Yeah. But you know, his message really kind of warmed my heart. You know, he's the first comedian I saw in America.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So he's at least his understanding.
Yeah,
being
that's
supportive.
exciting.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Yeah, I think it takes, you know, a certain person to empathize with other people. You know, I mean, everybody should, but like, sometimes people are so much in their own heads and they don't really like try to reach out or, you know. And I'm sure that with that message, there's like a bunch of other people who also feel the same way, but like didn't say anything because they're like, oh, now I know. But it is.
Oh,
it is
also
crazy.
just people, please say something.
Yeah.
You don't feel, I get this, you know.
Right. Because then it gives you the fuel to be like, I should keep speaking up because people are learning, and it's not like me speaking to the, you know, preaching to the choir or whatever.
Exactly. It's just kind of like CPR. You see a person there, the first thing you say is, you know, you call the police or call 911. You know, you got to say something right away. Yeah.
Not everyone will know what to do. Yeah, exactly. That's really important. I think like that's what's great about, you know, social media, especially when we can't actually talk to each other, so we have to do it online. And I mean, I guess with a lot of this stuff, I think it's, you know, and also like thinking about, I'm sure you're cognizant of the fact that like your son is growing up in this country, so like, you know, hopefully things are better by the time he's older. You know?
That's my big hope.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. But so what sort of things do you notice with him? Like, does he kind of see a lot of this stuff, or do you feel like, I don't know, is he aware of it because of you or in spite of you? Or whatever?
I don't talk too much about the nitty gritty of the racism and stuff, but I do, you know, bring this up, you know. And I think he's pretty aware of it. He's a very sensitive kid.
Cool.
Yeah. He's the one who pointed out that Asian Americans weren't really in the history book.
That's like very astute. I feel like I wouldn't know. I'm just like, I'm just like doing my own thing. That's cool. Because that is important. I know we've talked about this already, but it's just sort of like, anything that you can, you know, give context to why something is bothering you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, obviously, like, slurs don't have any power without the history, right? So you're like, some people might be like, I'm just calling you your country and man. And it's like, no, but also that came with, like, a lot of shit. And then they might be like, oh, oops, my bad. But, it's so hard to get people to listen and regret or, like, even say it. I mean, it's crazy. People, like, double down so often now.
But also there's different attitudes toward different ethnic groups. You know? If I feel that if an African American person says to a white guy, hey, this is wrong, the white guy will listen and apologize. But if an Asian person says the same thing, they're like,
like, come on, dude.
Even though they apologize, it's like, I'm sorry if it hurts your feelings.
Oh, like, I don't like that
I'm
apology.
like, that's not it's not an apology.
Right,
you know? It's just
I mean, I think that's really clear. Like, it's really cool, I think, to like follow and see the example of like the Black community, you know, because they've obviously gone through just everything under the sun, and you have to kind of like, so I think there's a lot of like, and even in entertainment there's a lot of like, oh, okay, cool, it's like really cool to see that the way that they've gone about it is like championing each other and like doing all these things. And like I think even they look to, like, I've heard things too where they're like, we have to champion each other, look, the Asians are championing each other, and then I'm like, I think you guys are championing each other really well, and we're the ones who need to work on it, so it's like there's a lot of like us reflecting on each other, which is cool. And I think hopefully also like uplifting each other, but especially I think with like people are finally maybe learning, oh yeah, we kind of screwed up with Black people in America. Like we really screwed them. So maybe we need to like fix that. And then, the minute like then this sort of Asian awareness is new. So people are like, okay, wait a second on that. And I mean, and so you kind of have to know, okay, I guess it takes a long ass time because clearly it's, everybody's slow, but yeah, for sure. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We just have to keep working at it and be louder.
Yeah, I love that.
And then you have to keep saying the same thing before they realize, oh, this is really an issue.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, did you have times, I guess, before? Because now I feel like it's great you're being outspoken and you are a visible person, so it's like even more powerful. Did you ever have?
Feel that visible.
I mean, you've got following. You're a comedian. But yeah, I mean, also I think just, did you ever have a time when, or I'm sure you did, but like, could you talk about the transition between like feeling comfortable to speak up versus like maybe when you weren't as comfortable to speak up?
Yeah, because the time really I started to, I've tried to talk about this from a long time ago, even way before I got on television. I even said on stage about the racial hierarchy in America.
Oh, okay.
And this white dude, threw water on me even.
Whoa!
Yeah, I know. Just like, I couldn't even remember his name anymore. He was just upset, I was like, people are very afraid of hearing uncomfortable truths. They're probably used to hearing the racism toward African Americans or toward Asians. Probably they never heard about it. He got really upset. I even didn't direct any anger toward him. It's just really bizarre. And I talked about the way Asians were treated differently in show business to reporters from New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, many times, but they almost never reported it in the past.
They're like, and
and then they only report the part they want to hear.
Sure, yeah.
But I kind of understand. A friend of mine, she's really pretty big newscaster now, but she went to Columbia to study journalism for a number of years. And she told me that during their journalism class, they even told the students, if you want your articles to be read by the most number of people, you go with the stereotypes instead of against it. If you're reinforcing certain stereotypes, your article will sell better. That's
right. But that's like exactly. I mean, because people like to read stuff that I guess confirms what they already know.
Comfortable. Happy to read it. Oh, these guys.
That's so weird. I mean, that's a troubling thing to teach, because you kind of hope that at that level they are still trying to make change and see change. And then maybe as they get older, they can become more jaded. They're like, I just gotta, get a paycheck and get my article read so I can feed my family. And then they start to resort to things like that. But you hope at like a school level, it'd be more like, the world is your oyster, change be the change you want to see, or whatever the fuck. But that's weird.
This is the stuff I have to work on. It's frustrating. And also a lot of these newspapers, since you can't blame the reporter who interviewed you.
Sure.
Yeah, he or she just basically writes down whatever you say.
Right. And then the
editor would just change it. Yeah. Even the numbers, it just happened to me personally. I really don't like Trump. I hate I hate it when he's attacking the press and calling them the enemy of the people or something.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
totally wrong.
It's crazy.
But on the other hand, sometimes I just feel that these newspaper people, they have their own agenda.
Sure.
And they tweak a lot of things. You know?
Right.
That's why it's really important to have our own media. You know?
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah, another side of the story.
Yeah, because I think headlines too really like legitimize people and things and projects. Like,
Yeah.
you know how I just there's like a really great journalist named Dino Ray Ramos. I think, have you heard his stuff? It's literally he works for Deadline, so it's like an entertainment news. But I think what's so great about having someone who is, I think he is Filipino. I'm not positive, but he's Asian ancestor somehow. And he writes a lot and highlights a lot of like Asian projects, or this Asian actor got cast in this thing. And like, it's really helpful because all this news is happening. They can't possibly cover everything. Yeah. But if that gets covered, if your, independent project gets covered, or like somebody sells a pilot or whatever, if it gets covered, it's just like a little boost, and it legitimizes that person and that project. And I think it's like really helpful. So if there's more Asian journalists and they kind of can legitimize, what you're saying, even though it shouldn't have to be that way. But I think people kind of turn to the news to be like, hey, what's happening? What's important? What should I know out of all the information that's out there? And if they keep in a quote about, Asians are getting kind of sidelined in the media or blah, 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 like, I think it really legitimizes that opinion, even though it's been there this whole time, So, I totally agree with that. I love, I feel like I read more news now, and who knows if that's a good thing, but, I think it really shows that, like, if that's how I'm getting my information, that's how a lot of people are, and
Because I remember at one time NPR had a discussion about Asian Americans and kids growing up in America, or, and especially Asian males. There's like Asian male problem in this country.
Totally.
And this was like years ago, and I was trying to call in. They wouldn't take my call. They just like every call they took is they began with some white people, and then it was white people who adopted Asian kids.
And now we're getting closer to the Asian.
Yeah, exactly.
One who raised one.
This is NPR. It's like.
And now another person who raised one of these.
Yeah, exactly. But I have to say that the parents who adopted Asian kids, they realized the problem.
I mean, they have to.
Yeah, the general public just don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, the Asian male thing is really interesting because I think it goes against what a lot of people like think about in this like current time, because I think everybody's like feminism, like totally I'm a feminist, love it, love it. But I think there's definitely like, I know, I guess like intersectionality is now a thing, that word, buzzword, intersectionality, basically meaning like like if you're in, like, everybody isn't just like a woman or a Black person or an Asian person, like you're also a Asian woman or you're an Asian man, and so I think and that means there's something very different than being a white man or being a white woman, and so and taking that into account. And it's also all sorts of things, it's sexuality, it's gender, it's like social class, all these things. So so I think like I don't know, I think the Asian male thing goes against a lot of people's brains, because they're like, wait, but I think if you're a man, you got it made, and so then that's fine, right? And then people are like, well, but then also if you're an Asian man, it's very different than being just a white man or being a Asian female even. And like I see a lot of it, not only because I have Asian men in my life, but also just, I think, being an Asian woman, you kind of hear about it through social media and things like that. So it's really a thing, but I don't know if people know.
Oh yeah, and this thing was talked about for years too.
Yeah.
I remember this probably early 2000s. There's even an article on the Boston Globe talking about this issue.
Oh wow.
Asian male.
What did they? Yeah. What was it at that time?
They were like, basically the gist of the article is because Asian males are quieter, they're harder to get promoted in America. Therefore, they should seek opportunities in Southeast Asia. I'm like, what? You tell
Therefore, leave
yeah,
now.
leave. Yeah,
We won't fix it here.
yeah,
so.
these people grew up here. You tell them to
That's so
get
funny.
out of the
They're
country.
like,
This is Boston Globe. Because one of the liberal
So random.
articles, liberal newspapers in the country,
Yeah.
So you get my frustration, right? It's like,
Sure, yeah. Clearly.
It's been like years and years. It's like, oh, there's something's not right, and nobody's even paying attention to it. So,
God, that's so
yeah,
terrible.
I know.
Yeah, that's so then clearly they maybe identified a problem, but they didn't even know what was wrong with it.
Yeah, but my idea is the country is you should serve individuals, and you have to know people are different. And just because a person is quiet, it doesn't mean you can just shun him.
Yeah, it's terrible concept.
Or just tell them to go
Right,
elsewhere. To find a way to work with them. That's how you brought the best in everybody.
Right,
it's good
right.
for the society.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like perception of how quiet or loud someone is. I never like that stuff because I feel like, people tune people out, even if they are being loud or asking for something, and people, it's also very subjective. So I think those sort of assessments are like really subjective and not accurate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. What else have you noticed with that kind of thing?
Oh yeah, this in a lot of workplaces you notice this. I just feel that sometimes if an Asian dude gets a lot of experience, get a lot of done, but then they don't get promoted. The so-called bamboo ceiling.
Sure.
Yeah. When I brought out this term here in Hollywood, a lot of the executives were like, oh, this is the first time I heard that term.
Oh, of course.
But
yeah.
I know exactly what it is.
Right. They're like, and bamboo Asian. Okay, thank you.
Exactly.
Moving on.
Moving on. So,
got it.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, they're like, good one. That's a good one.
Exactly.
It's very clear, very understandable. Yeah.
Yeah, but there are a lot of those, and but bamboo ceiling doesn't just apply to Asian male, of course. There are Asian females who don't get promoted either, and I know that some Asian female even told me their boss just told her, oh, only Caucasians in our company can be CEOs and stuff. It's like, oh.
Like, all right, thanks for saving me time so I can leave.
I know. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, of course, like it does sometimes feel like, we're a little invisible, like sometimes it could feel like, oh, well, our problems aren't as bad as other people's problems, so maybe I should not talk about it, stuff like that, for sure. But now we're talking about it, so.
Yeah. I think one struggle we had is also, I remember when Aquafina came out, a lot of people say, oh, she's, imitating black culture.
Oh, sure. I saw that criticism.
Yeah, and then if you don't do that, you just follow white culture.
Sure, I mean, I guess right.
Asian Americans has to find our own path or whatever. It's just I haven't quite worked this out yet.
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I think the Asian American culture thing is very invisible, but there is stuff for sure, and I think Aquafina contributes to it.
Yeah.
All these sort of artists who are Asian American are creating that now, but it's like we don't know it yet because it's not as, I guess, visible as other cultures, and we haven't been we've been here, but we haven't had as much visibility for as long as maybe other cultures
maybe
and
too new
stuff.
of a group.
I mean, and even like I remember studying Asian American culture and thinking like way back when it was like it used to just consider Chinese and Japanese as Asian American, and like all Vietnamese or other folks who were coming over were kind of like, oh, you're not really Asian American, you know what I mean? And now finally we're like, okay, expanding that out because obviously we're all in this, but it was interesting just to be like, oh, even then there was sort of restrictions and feeling like you weren't a part of it or whatever. So it's definitely still brand new in the version that it is that we know today, I guess. But yeah, totally. I think, all this stuff is so interesting, but I know it gets a little scholarly.
But then I didn't feel comfortable talking about this on social media until the child separation thing.
Sure.
That really triggered me. I'm like, okay, up to that point, at least I feel that America is on the wrong side, on the right side of history most of the time. But then after that, it's like, okay, we gotta.
Yeah, we're clearly crossed over to the
I
empire.
know. It's like, Jesus Christ, how can you do this?
Right. I don't know. Yeah, and that's still looming over. Like, it's like none of this stuff has gotten really resolved.
Oh yeah, we just moved on.
Kicking it down. Yeah, we're like, and let's see what else is on TV.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
God, I know. Yeah, I mean, everybody that's still hangover, still on our watch.
Yeah.
And then Corona, add that to the mix. You got a whole cocktail of fun. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, you start to wonder what happened to those kids in the concentration camps there.
It's terrible.
Procedures there.
Yeah. Whew. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Back to that. But yeah. So I mean, okay. So all these things we are acknowledging that they are happening, and I guess do you have any tips or tricks that you'd like to tell people about how to just like stay positive?
Yeah.
Anything Joe Wong does, or is it more is that ain't got time for that crap?
Yeah. I just feel that the only way for me to stay positive is actually know and acknowledge the negative stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you just keep ignoring it, it's always there.
Sure.
It's going to bother you. Yeah, but you have to. I'm sorry to say this. Life is complicated enough without all these racism and stereotypes.
It is.
Yeah. I know. You think about it, how hard
right.
it is to make a living and have a career. It's a lot of work. And on top of that, if you live in America, you have this added burden of dealing with all these other things. And but if you don't deal with it, it'll come back and surprise you. It's still there, So I just think that, just think about there is some negative stuff out there. You have to say something and do something about it. Then you will feel better. You probably will become more positive during the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can only be positive if you're doing something. That's my take.
No, that's great. I love that. I mean, it's definitely like I feel like normally we're like, sometimes I like to write in my journal and get my nails done. But this is definitely real. Definitely do all of the above. But that feels like a real solution. Clearly, taking action. I think it's like, it can sometimes feel so, I don't know, maybe feeling jaded or feeling like, even if I do put in the effort, nothing changes because like we've tried so many, fool me once, fool me twice kind of thing. But I think you're totally right. Like the minute, I think even with Corona, there are a lot of things like, here's ways you can help businesses because people are just like, oh God, I got to shutter for like a month. I don't have that kind of runway, and it might be 3 months. Jesus. So then it's like, if I order from my favorite Chinese restaurant, I guess I'm helping the world.
Exactly.
Oh man, I hate that I have to eat my favorite food ever and get it delivered to my doorstep.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, as that's not like a huge effort, but it does feel good if you feel like you're doing something helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel so bad for the businesses. Just the small ones. I don't care about Amazon.
They have a lot of cash.
I know.
The small ones, shopping at Chinese grocery stores, Asian supermarkets.
Yeah, I know people were like boycotting Korean food. It's like, this is not even the same fucking thing.
I know.
I mean, it's stupid anyway, but like.
But they know that like the Chinese food and Korean food in America is not the real thing.
Right, not even that. But
now when the coronavirus hits, that's...
right.
Now it's the real thing
wow,
now.
Panda Express, woo! It's got Corona and that orange chicken. But for sure, I think all those things, I do like seeing when people say like, how can you help? If it's not just like giving money, it could be... volunteering or like stuff like that. And I'm terrible at this, but I actually like the idea of just like giving money because sometimes I'm like, I could probably help more if I'm like here in my room doing my like I still like freelance code sometimes. It's like, say a freelance code for an
Yeah.
hour, and then I take that money and I donate it. Instead of donating an hour of my time, it might be more effective.
Oh.
Depending on what you're doing. Because it's like sometimes I think some of these volunteer things, maybe I'm not the best one to be there doing it. I might not be efficient. I might screw them up.
Yeah.
So it might be better just to give them the cash.
Yeah.
You're like, bye. But,
Oh,
or something like that.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think during this coronavirus thing, a lot
Sure.
of the
Staying in.
people in gig economy, entertainment business, it's hit them really hard,
Totally.
Yeah, and just help them out, 'cause
Yeah.
to give them. I just give them money.
Yeah, just be like,
seriously,
send me your Venmo.
Send me Venmo, PayPal.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people on Twitter do that. It's so
Yeah.
nice. They're
Yeah,
like,
I
hey,
did
I'm
that.
doing
Yeah,
fine.
just-
Oh, you did?
yeah,
Nice.
just
Joe Wong.
A lot
everyone.
of actors.
Ask him for
and-
money.
actors and comedians. and they
Sure. You don't have anything.
Yeah,
lined
that's
up.
miserable because I don't understand why, why don't we have a, universal healthcare system? Because
So many people don't have health care.
I have done so many fundraisers for sick or even dead comics.
Yeah,
this is crazy.
GoFundMe.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know GoFundMe, like their number one thing is just people's health issues. It's like that shouldn't, GoFundMe should be for like, oh, I want to make I want to build a house, or like I want to make a
business.
I'm
something.
trying to like
No.
make an app. It's like, no, it should not be for like, I literally had a life-saving surgery and I can't pay for it. That's insane. All that stuff is terrible, especially with Corona. Now we're really like, if our weakness as a country is healthcare, we're about to really be in for it. But that's very nice that you did that. Because like the lucky thing for me is I can still at least work on my writing job. I like lost a college gig, but I didn't want to fly. You know what I mean? And so whatever,
Well,
it's
don't
fine.
say this. There are bookers out there.
Right. Hey, I'd love to. Carnegie Hall will do it. No one else will. Yeah, imagine you capitalize on this. You're like, oh man, I'll perform anywhere. But I was waiting for them to cancel on me. They canceled on me, so I'm happy about that. I didn't cancel on them. I was like, oh man, I would have gone. Oh god, I'm out. Oh man, hopefully you can give me more money next time. But yeah, for sure, it was like. Luckily that's not my main income, but if it were, it would have been really devastating.
A lot of people are living on paycheck by paycheck.
Yeah.
So,
there's some statistic like most Americans, over 50% or some large amount of Americans can't afford a $400 unexpected expense. And of course,
jeez.
This is way more than a $400 like with no income, and I don't know.
Just
it's
think
insane.
about the rent. I just really hope that there could be a hiatus on
rent collection,
or mortgage
debt,
or something,
student
just
debt,
2 months or something, or
right.
postpone it. Yeah.
Free hospitals.
No, that's not happening in the
Damn it. Well, a girl can wish, this is pretty wild. But and I saw people kindly lending money, sending money, or offering to buy groceries for older people who aren't comfortable going out if they're in their 80s or 70s or whatever. And
this is also what some of the Chinese cities practiced.
Good.
They literally
send the children.
Not send children. If you don't want to go out and buy things, they will do it. Yes, they're volunteers who does buy the stuff. Put it at your door.
Okay,
and that's it. You pay them via internet, whatever. So just really minimize human-to-human contact.
I think with delivery here, like Instacart, Postmates, all those things are hopefully, people are risking going out, but they're so tip big. I think that's a big thing. Give them a big hefty tip because they're the ones doing the hard work. And
I know.
Just kind of like cower and be like, leave it outside. Don't touch me. Don't come inside. But what a nightmare.
I know.
We'll get things airdropped to us. Send the drones. Actually, I saw in Hong Kong they're sending robots out to clean certain things. Spray robots.
Oh yeah. There is there are some highways. They use the drones to take the tolls because they don't want to have a person contacting everyone, taking their money. So you just have a drone, you scan the QR code, you pay it. That's it.
Oh man. Well, it makes sense. The world would end, and it's just drones and dogs left over, which is nice. God, good combo.
I know. Yeah.
Drone dogs. Yeah, because dogs are immune, so
Yeah, that's what I heard.
it's good.
You know,
Yeah. We know they deserve it,
I
honestly.
don't know. Yeah, I was born in the year of the dog, so.
Ooh, I was
fingers
too.
crossed. Oh, you too?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So are we immune?
Yeah,
Great,
no.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a time to be
Yeah.
alive. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Anything you want to plug or particular things that you want to leave us with?
Yeah. Oh. No, I just wish everybody to really stay safe. Just keep distance and
Yeah. Only record emergency podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. Emergency podcast.
That's allowed.
Yeah, and just learn from other countries. That would be my suggestion. Just because it already happened in China, Korea, and Japan, and Italy, just to learn from them.
Yeah. I mean, that's our blessing is that we got it a little later, so we can actually see what played out.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't
Our
listen
future.
to Trump.
Yeah.
And see what other people have done.
Right.
Yeah.
Trump tested negative, but I don't trust it.
God.
Would we even know if it tested positive? Probably not.
Yeah. Or even he was tested and all. Who knows?
Right. They go, you look okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's in tip-top health shape or whatever. It's the same doctor. It's not trustworthy. Anyway, but yes, stay safe, everybody. But thank you for risking your life, Joe Wong, by coming out here to to podcast.
During this coronavirus era, if somebody is willing to see you in person, that's a true friend.
I know. We're true friends, clearly. And I mean, I guess, it's slightly better, I think, than if we went into a studio. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody's safe. But anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
have
for
a
having
great
me here.
Thank you. All right. That was Joe Wong, everyone. I hope you had a nice listen. Look, I'm doing this outro thing again. I think it's because I am quarantined and I can only make podcasts. That's my life now. I hope you had I hope it kind of helped listening to that. I don't know. We talked about Corona so much that I feel like I maybe just made more people worry, but, I appreciate it. I appreciate you indulging me. I know I get into the nitty gritty of Asian American history a lot in these podcasts, but it's just because I'm a nerd about that stuff. I still have a lot to learn, but I'm a nerd. So when I meet someone who's also interested in it, I think I just like to talk about it, get all nerdy on it. But okay, I'm very excited because look, I'm going to keep rolling out these podcasts. I want you guys to please, follow on Instagram, the podcast and myself and Twitter and stuff because I'm going to be tweeting more. I'm going to be Instagramming a lot because this is all I have, guys. I literally can't perform comedy anymore. So honestly, maybe I'll become an Instagram comedian. Is that a thing? Just hope you guys are doing all right. Something I did the other day is I watched the entire season 1 of Bloodline on Netflix, which is an old show that I think was one of their first drama series, but it was really enjoyable. It was stressful. But yeah, I think it's just about right now. I'm going to watch all of the television, just all of it. And I'm going to start drawing, maybe take up some skills that you wanted to learn, an instrument if it's already in your house. Maybe start writing that memoir that you've been working on or thinking about. We talked about Joe's memoir. He did write his own memoir, and it was really interesting to read. I literally just read it as a Word document because it wasn't fully published or anything yet. But, someday maybe when the whole world is over and, the aliens come down and are trying to excavate human remains and they stumble upon your hard drive and they say, oh, wow, look, this person, they didn't finish their memoir, but they started it, and it looks like it was started during a quarantine. So think of all the joys that you could impart on the alien race. This is fun. You're slowly watching me spiral into craziness, I think, is what's happening. So congratulations. All right. Have a good day.